Average Woodsman here, back with another video. So today I wanted to go over some of my favorite survival rifles that I currently and have owned over the years. I have a lot of experience with packable rifles that are built or designed around survival. I've owned quite a few over the years, and these are my three favorites that I've had or that I currently own that I actually use quite a bit. I just want to pre-apologize for the wind. It's been really windy here lately, so if you hear a lot of wind in the background, that's what it is. I can't really do much about that, but let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, so the first rifle I want to talk about is the 1022. So I've owned quite a few 1022s over my life. I grew up shooting a 1022. My dad always had a 1022 growing up, so I have a lot of experience with it. This one is one that I've had for a little bit of time, not too long, but a little while, and I've shot it quite a bit. It does have a suppressor on it. It has my Silencer Co. suppressor, but the 1022 especially, well, in general, the 1022 has a lot of things that make it really good for survival. And if you buy something like the 1022 Takedown, even a basic model, it doesn't have to have the X22 backpacker stock from Magpul. It could be just a standard 1022 Takedown. It has a lot of advantages because of its packability and its relative low weight. Now, this one right here has a slightly heavier barrel that is fluted, so it adds a little bit of weight, but this thing still doesn't weigh very much, and it has a ton of uses, and it can be packed into a backpack. You can use the carrying case that comes with it that has straps, and it has a carry handle on it, grab handle on it. You could use this, you could put this in maybe a hard case if you wanted to throw this in your truck or in a canoe, a boat. And it's super simple. Like I said, it's pretty lightweight. You literally just put the barrel in, turn it, and it locks right into place. Now this thing is 100% ready to go. It's not super massive, like it doesn't have a lot of length to it. It's relatively lightweight. Mine, I have a Vortex. This is one of their Crossfire. This is the Crossfire 2. This is actually a rimfire scope. It's a 2-7, so it's variable. It's a high quality scope that works really well, and it's relatively inexpensive. And with the rifle itself and it being suppressed, it's really advantageous for packing and using or keeping for an emergency. So that's one of the things that's really, really good about this rifle. As you can see, it's unloaded. It's really, really good about this rifle, and when you have this stored, you can keep a Ruger 10-round rotary magazine in it, and then you can have back here stored additional rotary magazines. And I just have some of the clear Rugers in here, and then I just have a small little case. I think I got this is for like batteries, like for like Sierra 123 batteries, and I have like 18 or 20 1022, those are mini mags in there. And now I have 30 rounds plus an additional 20. I have 50 rounds in this rifle, and it doesn't weigh very much. This rifle weighs maybe around 6 pounds with the suppressor and the scope. So it's a really good tool to have. And then it also has down here, I almost forgot, down here you can remove this, if I can get it off, and if you wanted to, you could store something down in here, like cash, or you could store additional ammunition. You could store maybe like a little tiny small fire kit or something like that in there if you wanted to. I don't have anything in there, but yeah, it's just a really, really good rifle that has a lot of really good uses, and it's not super heavy, it's not super expensive. I have a decent amount into this specific rifle because of the way I have it set up, especially with the suppressor. And with a suppressor here in the United States, you have to have a tax stamp. So with the tax stamp, the suppressor, and the way this is set up, I'm maybe $1,400 into it. So this is not a cheap common man setup, but the 1022 in and of itself is definitely a common man rifle. You can buy one for just a couple $100 especially if you bought a used one, they can be even cheaper than that. And even the takedown models you can get for $400 to $500, and you don't have to do it like this. You can use the iron sights. You don't have to put a scope. You don't have to put a suppressor or anything like that. You don't even have to put the backpacker stock on it if you don't want to spend the extra money. The rifle in and of itself, out of the box, is good to go. It's just I built my own specific to what I wanted it to be. So I think this just makes it even more useful out in the woods in a survival situation, especially small game hunting with the suppressor. But yeah, this is my setup for my 1022. All right, so the next one I want to talk about is the Henry survival rifle. This one is near and dear to my heart because this firearm I've had since 2010. I've had this firearm since 2010, so 15 years. This specific one, not the Henry survival rifle, but this specific Henry survival rifle. I've had it for about 15 years now, and I mean, what can I really say about it? It's really lightweight, super compact. Everything fits inside the buttstock. It has been reliable, it has been durable, and it has, you know, acceptable accuracy, decent accuracy for what it is. And really the benefit, or what draws people to this, is how compact it is and the fact that it can float. So you could use this in your canoe or kayak or john boat. You could throw this in your truck if you wanted to, but if you are using this in something like a canoe, this is a self-contained unit. Everything is inside here. You don't need a separate carrying case. You don't need anything like that. And if you were to overturn your canoe and fall into the water, this does float. I don't know how long it floats, but I have tested it myself and it does float. Everything fits right back here in the stock. You have the receiver right here. You have additional areas where you can store magazines, and then you have the barrel. The barrel just goes right onto the receiver, just like this. It screws on. You guys see me swatting. There's a lot of mosquitoes out here this morning. Tighten it down. You have, let's put this back on, stock here. Put that back on the stock, and then this just feeds right into here, and then there's a little screw in here, and then you just tighten it down, and that's literally the extent of this firearm, putting it together. Everything is all right there, and then it has a little magazine. You can take out the magazine right here, and it has, this retracts down into it and it pulls out. Just a simple blowback design, excellent for what it is. Like I said, it's accurate. It has a small peep sight right here and a orange front blade. People have complained a lot about this design because of the poor reputation that it got when it was being manufactured by Charter Arms. I never owned a Charter Arms AR-7, so I can't speak on their quality. I've heard a lot of bad things about them. With that said, I have had this rifle, as I stated previously, for about 15 years now, and this has been one of my favorite rifles to own. It has been with me all over the country when I was traveling. It's been all over the country with me backpacking. It's been in canoes, in boats. It's been in tons of backpacks, and I have never had any issues with it. It's a rimfire, so it's not going to be 100% reliable, but in my experience, even high-quality rimfires like the 1022 are not 100% reliable over thousands and thousands of rounds. So, yeah, it's a good rifle. It's accurate, it's durable, and for what it is designed for, so an emergency tool, this is an excellent option. And the one that's manufactured by Henry is has exceptional quality in my experience. And last but certainly not least is my TPS Arms M6 Scout. Had this one for a long time now, probably, wow, right around the time they were actually introduced. So a couple years now, not as long as my Henry survival rifle, but longer than the current 1022 that I showed earlier. I've had other 1022s, but that's my most recent one, and that's my most recent build. This one right here is made by TPS Arms. It's a copy of the Springfield Arms M6, and it has, I never owned one of the old Springfield Armory M6s, but I have held a couple. I used to work at a gun show, and I have held a couple and come across them, and I shot one before. And I think that this one actually improved on some things from the other one. I have a bunch of videos on this rifle. You can go through my channel. I have a bunch of videos featuring this rifle. This particular one is in 357 Magnum. So the top barrel is in 357 Magnum. The bottom barrel is in 410. So it's very versatile. I have not shot any large game animals with my 357, but I have shot quite a few small game animals like squirrels, rabbits, things like that with the 410. So it does work really well. It has a peep sight that flips to a V-notch, and that's for the bottom barrel. That's for your shotgun barrel, and the top barrel, the peep sight is for the top barrel. So you just flip back and forth when you're using them. It is adjustable by this right here. You can pull this up or push it down. That's actually how you are able to switch between the two barrels. It has right back here, you can have 410, and then they'll have 357 Magnum. You could do like 22 Magnum, 22 long rifle, whatever you want. I will say I do have the adapter from Short Lane Arms, the 3-inch adapter. I found that it's actually not very useful putting that into the 410 barrel. The accuracy is actually really poor, and I don't know if I just personally got a bad one or if that's the way they all are, but the accuracy out past about 10 to 15 feet is really, really poor. So I actually opted to just go back to the way I had it set up originally, just the with 6 410 and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 357 Magnums. I don't have anything here. If you wanted to put like some, a little kit here or something like that, you could. If you wanted to put something right here, you could. I personally wouldn't. It's already heavy enough. I wouldn't add any more weight to it. This thing is solid. Right here is where it flips. There's a little latch here that you lift up, and that takes the rifle down. It has a little pin here like an AR-15, so the rifle can be taken apart if you wanted to. I just have a leather sling on here, which is another thing I really like about this. You can add a sling to this, and it makes it even more multifunctional, especially when you're carrying it over long distances in the woods, because like I said, it's not a lightweight rifle, and it's not a very cheap rifle. I want to say I paid around 600 and some change for it. I don't know if they've went up or not. I'm not exactly sure, but it's standard basic to basic with the other rifles. This is probably the most expensive to get into. You can buy a pretty cheap 1022, even a 1022 takedown. You can be for 400. You can find one for $400 or $500. Probably even less than that without the backpacker stock. The Henry survival rifle is a couple $100. I'm not exactly sure what they are right now, but I'll put links to every one of these to their websites in the description, so you guys can go check them out. But when I bought my Henry survival rifle, now remember this is like 15 years ago. I want to say I got, with the transfer and everything, it was well under $200, or right around $200. I don't know what they are right now. Maybe they're still really cheap like that. I'm not sure, but I know for a fact that they're cheaper than this rifle, 100%. This is by far the most expensive out of the three. All right, guys, so that's kind of the video. I just wanted to, not necessarily quickly, but kind of explain each rifle individually, talk a little bit about them, the reason why I have them, the reason why I have them set up the way I do, and kind of just go over my personal favorites from my experience. All these rifles I've had for years. I have a lot of experience with each one of them. This is not something I just bought like a week ago or 3 days ago, unboxed it and said, oh, this is a great firearm. I have a lot of experience with all of these and a lot of history using them over extended periods of time, and I have hunted with all of them. I've taken game with all of them, so I have a lot of experience with each and every one of these rifles. Now, this video is not the best survival firearms. You know, you're going to have a lot of different firearms in that, shotguns, maybe different types of handguns. You could have a lot more firearms included in that. This is just specifically rifles, and yes, the TPS Arms M6 Scout, that rifle has a shotgun barrel on the bottom, but it still has a rifle barrel on top, meaning that it's still a rifle in my opinion. So, and remember, this is my list, so I kind of added it to that because it's both a rifle and a shotgun, and it makes it even more versatile, which I really like. I like versatility. I like for it to be multifunctional and have a lot of different different uses and abilities for each individual firearm. So, like I said, this is my list with my experiences and my opinions. I'd appreciate you guys if you guys want to, you know, throw your favorite survival rifles down in there or your experiences with these specific firearms. You can do that. Remember to like, subscribe, share these videos with your friends and family. Be safe, stay dangerous, and I'll catch you on the next one.